Here we go. Hello. And we will try to find another legend here. So we will see. Uh, this is around 1200 heal. So it will be interesting to see what are what will be going on here. So recording just in case we find something interesting here. But we will treat it as a normal game. We will try to spot the mistakes. But still, we will look at if there are any interesting builds. So we have a lot of things at first, but we have a Wanderer start on Bear. We do have the Yozora start from Chuzi, a Gross, a lot of questioning also onto the lane of Ready, uh, but Majestic Turtle going for a 2-worker start Growl. It will be a 2-worker Fire Lord on wave 2. And why is there so much questioning on Reddy's lane is because he started the Gate Guard paired with the Washroom. So here we're gonna discuss on that a little bit. So the Gate Guard and the Washroom, you normally want them to share aggro because the passive of the Washroom is to regenerate a certain percentage of its HP. So if you partially tank with the Washroom, then you are getting more value from that unit than you would normally have if it tanks fully after another unit. And also, normally you want to use the Gate Guard as a DPS unit because most of the value of the Gate Guard is in the summon and a lot of things going on to the Fire Lord here. I believe Bear and Chuzi are not really understanding why is there a Fire Lord here. But yeah, so there's two manner of playing this. There's two manner of playing that Fire Lord. And it is to either keep the Growl on 2 and then put the Fire Lord on wave 3 to hide the fact that you have the Fire Lord. But then you just need to have an answer for wave 5. But here, Bear pushing to 5 workers here from the 20 cents on 1. And that was a king up, I believe. Yes, this was a king up, but leaking 50% just because he only added a polywog here. So Wanderer is one of the only start that is very risky to push to 5 workers because you are often destroyed by a snail resend or even to a no send if you do not have the correct unit to back it up. So normally you're looking towards a buzz to help it or mask. Those are the two that I know that works very well to go 5 worker. But even then, it is very risky to go for the early 5 worker with a Wanderer. And oh wait, yeah, that is a 80 cent here onto the Fire Lord, but not any 80 cents. It is the full King Ups here, realizing it is a Fire Lord. So missing a lot of income here. So you could have mixed some snails with that. Yes, you do not get the 4 King Ups, but at least you get the extra gold to allow you to build before before the before the wave and the building phase. So we do have the pierce damage here. And now we will discuss a little bit about the build here. Okay, so choosy, normal build here, diagonal, just to allow the shared aggro amongst all the units here. So you see the warg is tanking, the infiltrator is tanking, the Yuzara will tank after one of the two. So you have a nice progression and damage shared amongst all your units. And if you look at the bear's lane, then you have a more complicated and not really as effective damage share. You have the Wanderer that will go. This Polywog is too far in front, and then thus the wave will not go towards those Ranger, meaning that those Ranger will not tank and are only used as pure DPS. But when the Wanderer dies, all the units go under Seraphim, and then goes back onto the Eternal Wanderer. And so there this aggro is kind of complicated, and it's mostly due to the fact there's a Wanderer here. So when you are playing Wanderer, you kind of want to have something that is more clear onto what you want to do. Something like what Chuzi has. So you want your Wanderer to die first, yes, but you want a backline tank to ensure that your range DPS are protected while this Wanderer is dying. Uh, so Majestic Turtle now going for the still having the Fire Lord, but having a tank here with the Eternal Wanderer uh, protecting himself on wave 5. One of the weak wave of Fire Lord if you do not prepare yourself for it. So still very good. And here you see the Wanderer is now a DPS unit and the Fire Lord is tanking. I would love to see later a partial tank here, like a split. So that yes, at least half of the wave goes on the Fire Lord to exploit the damage reduction from his Molten Shield. But not would love to see just a split here to at least buy time for that. But we do have here the Snellsen onto Chuzi, not having the best units here on wave 5. A lot of swift armor, a lot of arcane defense, and only the Ward truly can be qualified as a tank. Yes, magic damage from the infiltrator, but it is tanking the boss. So this means it dies quite early. So let's assess the worker situation here. We do have the worker lead from Majestic Turtle as well as Ready because of the sense. We will have Ready sending mass snails here onto Bear, and that is the ranger build that will receive that. It does delay the damage from those ranger onto the Rokos, and we do have the Lifesteal Devilfish here. So Butcher is getting buffed patch after patch and now is decent natural tank on its own, as well as giving uh, a decent lifesteal aura, but you need to use it on partial DPS units. And sorry about that, there was a massive sense here. The two brutes from Chuzi onto Ready and does manage to leak him. Yeah, it does manage to leak him. Just because he doesn't have the real frontline to handle wave 6 here. If he had a Devilfish in front of those gate guards, then yes, he could have had a chance, but the Fire Lord will be easily covering that. And we did have a hold from the Butcher as well as the Infiltrator on Bear and Chuzi. Bear is now sending income on Majestic Turtle on the weak wave of the Fire Lord. Oh no. No. Okay, so Growl, not really the best addition on wave 7 and 8. If anything, you want to build your Growl on wave 6 to have a better arcane defense tank on wave 7 and 8. So it could have possibly have something like a canopy here. I don't think he had enough gold or just barely not enough. Or even then, if you want to go for additional tank and you don't have the gold for a canopy, you can still go the route of additional wanderers. But also what I don't like is that the Fire Lord is just not tanking or partial tanking and thus not making use of the passive. And so this will result into massive leak here from Majestic Turtle, not having the best frontline and not using the full potential of the Fire Lord. But we need to admit that he was 200 gold under because of the long save and also his overpush from the Sen on wave 5. But it will be covered in the middle nonetheless, but the worker lead is now in favor of Bear and Chuzi because of this mistake from Majestic Turtle. But is it over? No, it is not. There is still a window of opportunity to get and we do see a common weak wave from Choosing Bear on wave 9. Do they spot it? It looks like they want to go for income and try to recover from the leak that happened here. So the Grawl is sold now, probably to get the canop. Oh no, no! You need to use this passive here. You need to use your lane completely. You need to use that Fire Lord onto the split. It hurts to see, but uh, I do understand that Fire Lord is one of the hardest tier 6 to play because his ability is so complicated for newer players. So this means that if you have a Fire Lord, you want a Fire Lord to partially tank the wave, uh, because that's where you can do the perfect mix of absorbing damage with the Molten Shield, as well as uh, um, dealing more damage by reducing its mana. So it is a very hard unit to position. But nonetheless, we do have after this Sun an equal worker amount of both team, but wave 10 is a huge issue for Ready and Majestic Turtle, while for Bear and Choosy, wave 10 seems to be pretty fine, and so they are in a position uh, to put pressure on wave 10. But they need to be careful because 11 right after that, and we do have the answer for 11 now. We were just questioning what they will do on 11, and we do have the answer in their Samurai Soul here. So very strong unit on wave 9 and 11 as well. We do have also the Samurai Soul from Majestic Turtle, and we do have at the end of this wave a worker lead from Choosy and Bear, but only one. Majestic Turtle going for the Hermit after income. Oh no, this is going from worse to bad here. Um, so now this means that Choosy will be able to push additional workers for their sand on wave 10. And also the Hermit is not the perfect sand here, but it might still work because of the poor armor typing from Choosy on that wave. But it looks like it will be a cover. Uh, yeah, Yozora is not taking anything, and so this means it will be a hold from Choosy, but not pushing workers here. Okay, so the sand is coming here, but Choosy not taking advantage of the additional sand, not pushing a single worker here. But let's see, the sands here are Hermit and Brute. Not Hermit on 10 is really the correct play here, because it's a single unit, and also your healing, yes, it's increased due to the boss wave, but it's very single target focused, the build from Majestic Turtle, and we do see the elite archers here that can be very good on on this wave. And also he has those fire lords, and those fire lords can buy time for the elite archer to deal damage, but will it be enough time? That is the question. Will it be a hold for Majestic Turtle? And it is a clear on the boss. Does it clear the sand as well? And it looks like it will be a clear on the sand as well. So very nicely held here by Majestic Turtle, and Ready holding as well with the Berserker. So very nicely played here, nicely covered. But we did have Ascent as well onto Bear and Choosy. But now who comes ahead in the worker? We do have a quick Dark Ritual from both Bear and Choosy, and doing King Ups to a Dark Ritual all around, taking taking the damage, but investing into King Region to at least scale better. But the thing is, who comes out ahead? And that is Bear and Choosy, pushing workers while receiving this send, while Majestic Turtle and Ready did not push worker Well, Ready did, but not Majestic Turtle. Majestic Turtle is scared of something. Well, he's playing overvalued here, so he caught back up on value, but the problem is that Bear is at 15 right now, and Choosy is at 12. So now we have a 2 worker lead from Choosy and Bear in total. So Majestic Turtle will struggle unless this. I mean, even on 13, I do not think he's in a strong position because the Fire Lord are just not tanking efficiently, and there's no split. What saves Ready a lot of the time is that with the V formation here, we do have a shared aggro amongst all of the gate guards here. But still, it should not be enough on wave 13 because on wave 13, his front line is fully fortified. He would need to have the Fertilizer to possibly have a slim chance of doing good. But here the Phoenixes are coming out from Majestic Turtle. So the beginning of the yeah, it's kind of okay. So to answer a question on the Twitch chat, how does the split aggro works with summons? The answer is it's messy. It's always messy. There is no clear answer to how the aggro works. Wait, did we have? Oh, we did have push from the yeah, push from, I'm gonna say it, push from the King Ups on wave 11 from Bear and Ready. And so we did have a larger worker lead on Bear and Choosy. And by the way, thank you for the follow, Shusk. And so, yeah, hard name to pronounce. But we do have a, oh, wait. Wait, why is Choosy the only one sending here? Okay, so Choosy deciding to go solo on that wave onto the Fertilizer and the Gate Guards. So we did spot this could be a weak wave, but with the Fertilizer it has a chance to do very well. And the Hermit here not really contributing anything, only maybe against the Leviathan, but most of the damage is single target damage, and so it should be a decent clear, but should still be a leak. But here I don't like the Cannoneer Sen, just because if you want to counter wave 13, you need Swift Armor, right? And so if you send a Cannoneer, you just increases the amount of impact damage on that wave, and it is a clear here, so massive clear from Ready. This means that he will be able to cover on wave 14 for his teammate, who has a massive amount of Fire Lords, but does have Trinity Archers in the back. If you look at the value, he is under, but so is Bear and Choosy. Choosy will be overvalued here, but looking at his units, no real good units here. If you look at his damage, it's mostly tanks or magic damage in the Orchids. We do have good damage in the Daphnes for Bear, but he is undervalued. But he is receiving a Ghost Knight, which is one of the worst and you can go for against the Daphnes. Because the Daphnes are doing pierce damage, but not only this, they increase the damage that everybody else is doing to it. So this means that the Ghost Knight is melting, and so we would have loved to see something like a Centaur, which is a little bit more resistant to those Daphnes. But here the 4i is enough to leak quite massively the Phoenix player, but we will have a hold from Ready, but a big leak on Bear and Choosy despite not having the optimal Sen. So now it's a question of how much can Ready can cover in the middle, and it looks like it would be covered quite easily here. And so is this enough damage? This is enough damage to do a lot to the king, but not enough to kill. But this is a very good gold for Majestic Turtle and Ready. And looking at the workers, we have Turtle still a little bit behind the workers, and Bear and Chuzi are ahead, but Reddy uh, is going to be able to catch back onto them. So let's see here. We do have Phoenixes here. He will be able to clear wave 15 quite easily. He will be quite good on wave 16 as well, but he will struggle on wave 17, partly due to the fact he does not have a split. So that is something that we see a lot on lower elo, that uh, we do not have a lot of splitting. Like, we have the essential core of the build here, like placing your units to share some aggro with a diagonal, but we rarely have splits here. And the use of a split is just so important with units like a Trinity Archer or Fire or Phoenix, because most of the value is within an ability that benefits from having less units around it. But nonetheless, this will be an easy clear here. Uh, Even with a Send here, I did not see the Send, and that is a huge mistake to send on this wave, especially against Phoenixes and Seraphins. And here we have the old school build of Seraphim Leviathan. Not as effective now because the damage increase of the Leviathan buff is purely a percentage and not a flat amount. So this reduces the effectiveness of the buff on the Seraphim, but nonetheless still very good to have at least this buff onto your units. We do have 3 Phoenixes here, and the big sense from Majestic Turtle and Ready still going for the Ghost Knight here. Um, so we would love to see something like our Siege Ram or things like that most effective against those Daphnes. And I do believe that with those Fire Lords, Head Chef, and Daphnes, it should be a hold for Bear. And it should be close to a hold also from Chuzi, because the Sand, it does not counter what is the most important here, which is the Yuzora. So let's see here. It looks like the Daphnes are not enough to clear wave 16 here, and it looks like the Ogre is still enough to break through the Azeria nonetheless, just because the value are just not optimal here. But here it is a decent clear, but is this enough to kill them? It is a Hermit plus 10 of the Cardinals, and they decide it is enough. And yes, it will be a win for Majestic Turtle and Ready. A lot of people in the chat was rooting for Majestic Turtle, and we did have him win this match here with Ready on his side, able to cover some of his leaks on his weakest wave. So very good teamwork here. And so if we look here, what was the problems here? So the common mistakes on everybody was to not have a split, uh, or not fully use the ability of their units. The one that did that the best was already using the synergy of the Leviathan and flying units, but it could have been a little bit better on the positioning with the gate guards here. So in terms of building, I think the one of Ready was the most solid. Uh, and it's all about partial tanking and how you place your units, right? Here you had Wildshroom that are full tanking, but you want them to partially tank, so having a split does uh, enable you to do a little bit better. So that's the thing also. Here, yes, you have a good core build with your DPS behind, your front line in front, but you don't use fully the ability of the canopy. You don't perfectly share the aggro between the Fatalizer and the Arc Tear. You don't fully protect your old DPS here in the Orchid. Uh, and small details all around. You're debuffing also this Alpha Male for 2 units. Uh, so small adjustments here are needed. Just better understanding the units, but that takes time. And also building a split is very, very crucial in certain builds, including this one. The Daphnes here can be very good if you have the decent front line. So what was Bear lacking here is that he had too much value into a single target DPS, but not enough into tanks that are partially tanking, sharing aggro, and things like that. So on that, I'm gonna say thank you for watching, YouTube, and I hope you liked it.